Unless specifically indicated otherwise, the content expressed are my views only and not necessarily those of Lifeco Asset Management, LLC. The content presented is in no way an investment advice, solicitation, or an offer to sell securities or investment advisory services. The material is provided for general information and educational purposes based upon publicly available information from sources believed to be reliable. I cannot assure the accuracy or completeness of these materials. As such, the information in these materials may change at any time without notice. Reference to these discussions about IULs and annuities or fixed insurance products. Investments on fixed insurance products are different from investments in the stock market. Any guarantees provided by a fixed insurance product cannot be assumed to be guaranteed for any other investment.
Welcome to the Rock My Finances show on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV, where we put the fun in finance. Join Powerhouse Jennifer Jose, CDFA, CMC, and Private Wealth Advisor, as she collaborates with you to create clarity, control, and confidence with your money, your way. It's not about the zeros, so what is it all about? Let's find out. Now here's your host and weekly friend, Jennifer Jose.
Hey there, everyone. I am enjoying the sunshine day, thoroughly enjoying. I do have contractors in the back that are hammering, so don't mind you. You're not going insane. There is a little bit of hammering going on. So, a couple things. I would like to shift from our head to our heart today. So, when we talk about money and rocking our finances and, doing our spending plan and checking out our investments and the market going up and down and, just getting our goals and stuff ready for the next year, we tend to stay in our head. So I want us to all literally move your arms around, bring our hands down to our heart. And I need us to come from our heart today because this is going to be a very powerful show. I'm very excited for my guest. We have all been through stuff. I don't think you can get through this life without going through some stuff. As women, we tend to have our childhood form a lot of our beliefs, especially about ourselves, our worth, why we're here. Should we be here? Are we allowed to be here? Do we have a voice? Can we share our voice? Are we important? Are we beautiful? Are we enough? We have all these things that we form usually before the age of 8, some scientists say. So when we bring that into middle school, where bullying starts, and high school, where the love relationships and sexuality comes into everything, all of that is stacked on top of all this baggage. So when I reach my clients in adulthood, a lot of them say, I lost my voice. I lost my voice. I lost myself. I don't know who I am. When the kids are grown and moved out, I had a couple not so great relationships, or even been taken advantage of by some people, either in childhood or whatever. You don't know all the stuff. I don't need to rehash all the stuff. However, when we lose who we are and our voice, we cannot make the best decisions moving forward. And y'all know me. I love the F word. We have to address how we feel about something before we can make that next best step. So I met this amazing woman who is, her whole thing is taking her life and bringing it where it is today and helping other women find their voice, heal, find out who they are in a very different way. I've never seen it before. This is never seen or heard before. And I've been around the block just a bit, just saying. So I am really, really excited to bring on Miss Jen here. She is, I'm going to let her explain what she does because it's so powerful. She helps empower women through their gestures and embodiment. So she grew up as a dancer, so she knows so much. Jen, come on.
Hello.
Hi, I'm so excited to talk to you. We are going to dig right in, okay?
Absolutely.
First thing is what I ask all my guests, what did you spend money in the last week that brought you joy?
My yoga class.
I love it. How often do you do yoga?
I try to go once a week, and I really, really love it. It's great. And I, veered away from yoga for a while, so I'm so glad to be back.
That's great. And is it more of a spiritual, or in addition to exercise, also a spiritual practice for you?
It really is more spiritual than anything. I mean, I love the workout. I love the vinyasa and moving through and all that quick and getting your heart rate up. But it is really, really a beautiful practice for me spiritually. Yeah, I love it.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So I want you to start in current times. Tell me about what you're doing now, and then we'll dive back into history a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me here. And I
Sure.
love how you started. I just love the, bringing everyone out of their mind and into their body and putting your hand on your heart. It really was a beautiful way to begin. And I just appreciate that. So thank you.
Absolutely.
So I work with really every age. It's pretty phenomenal. From like 14-year-old teenage girls to 80-year-old women and everyone in between, truly, because this practice that I created called the power of gesture really speaks to everyone. It is, and intentionally, we'll talk about my past when you're ready to go there, but I am a dancer. I have been my entire life, and I've been involved with movement and movement coaching and teaching in New York City schools and the whole broad range of aspects of dance. But really what it is it's about movement. And so I wanted to create a practice for people to have access to access their emotions, because dance has really saved my life. And again, we'll talk about that later, but it really is my savior. It is my vocabulary. It is how I speak and connect in the world. And not everyone's a dancer, so I wanted to create an accessible approach for everyone to be able to connect to their emotions and move their feelings through their body with movement. And gestures are a really accessible way to do that, because we're born with our beautiful hands, with our beautiful facial expressions, and the littlest gesture paired with music can be extremely transformative. So that is what I'm doing now. I'm really helping people kind of peel back the layers of who they are and what holds them back and what keeps them stuck, whether it's stories or their history or these negative beliefs that they have about themselves, whatever it is, social media, the teenagers are really, that's the big one for them. So peeling back, who am I, through the power of gesture, connecting to who that essence is, what we're meant to do, our purpose and our passion. And I really help bring back the joy.
That's so exciting. I love it. So if you're listening right now, go to jenaks.com and you're going to see her website and you're going to see the stories that she's talking about. So tell me the process of how you help someone, because so you've said so much powerful things. I wanted to stop you so many times. You're right. I don't know how to dance. Like I love to dance.
Right.
Do I look sexy and do I look like I know what the hell I'm doing? Absolutely not. But I am the last one on the dance floor at every wedding, at every event. Like, I love to dance. I love to just get out there and move with the music. That's a completely different situation than what you have done. And dancers, I just went and saw a play here in Beverly Hills. It was amazing. And these dancers are phenomenal. So how do you get someone like myself, who has a shit ton of baggage, to actually not look stupid doing these gestures and stuff with music and actually have it on something that people are going to see?
Okay, first of all, I want to go back to something you said. That is your own limiting belief about yourself, that you're not a dancer. You
Yes.
get on the dance floor. You're the last person to leave a party. You're a dancer. If you're, are you a professional dancer that embodies choreography and can perform on a stage? Maybe not. Okay, so maybe that's not the route of dance. But you don't have to do that to be a dancer necessarily. You like to dance. Dance is a part of who you are. It's a part of your joy. So 100% it's part of your identity. There's a lot of different variations within there. So I want to just clarify that you most definitely know how to dance. You love to do it, and you're on the dance floor all the time. So
that's awesome, because I actually have all of my clients create a money dance. And so we don't celebrate ourselves enough. So on my weekly calls, we all celebrate each other and we all do our money dance. And my money dance is like hilarious.
Yes.
And we
There
like
you
I'm shaking my
go.
ass, like we got to get it all the way in our body. We have to get the crap out and all the good stuff in. That's my minor part of dancing.
No, but that's not minor. I'm telling you, it's very significant because that's essentially what I do. What you are doing with your arms like this is a gesture. And then what I do is sort of bring in what is the story and really putting value in that. You know, what is that story? So I want I want the joy in my body so I can make money. I want to lighten the load of this financial pressure. So maybe you know, this is the gesture of that. I want to take that heaviness of this financial pressure and these financial, you know, burdens and move it out and shake it out. So maybe that's your gesture. It's this and this. And then it's a little joyful freedom dance after. So that's your money dance. I mean, I absolutely love that. And so that is the essence of what I do with women, let's just say like you, that again, you're not on a stage performing. It doesn't matter. This is accessible. So to take you through a little bit of how it works, you know, we just kind of did it. I will have always a prompt when there's a group of women. I do one-on-ones, which is different because then it's specifically about her story and, you know, what are you feeling today and what's heavy on your heart today? Well, I'm feeling the pressure of this and okay, let's create some gestures around that. You know, I just did this, right? We always speak with I speak with my hands a lot.
Oh, for sure.
It's so amazing because our body really talks before we even have the words. So I just did this, you know, I'm feeling pressure today. So let's just say that's all it is. You're embodying how you feel in this moment. And we create a story around that, put on some music and you move through. So, but with a group of women, it's really about a prompt. So in your case, it might be a financial prompt. You know, what holds you back in this? I don't exactly know. I know your demographic and the women that you work with to a degree, but I haven't worked with them one-on-one to really know what their issues are. But what does hold them back? They would talk about it and then embody it with a gesture. And then what takes you forward? Because it's always the dark and the light. There's always the dark and the light. It's what holds you back and what brings you forward. And the prompts change every time I do workshops based on the community that I'm working with. So it could be around intuition. It could be about body image. It could be about finances. It could be, you know, being present in your body or showing gratitude in the world or living with courage. You know, there's all these different prompts that I've done based on the community that I'm working with. But the process is the same. And the process is really about identifying what comes up with that specific prompt, embodying the emotion behind it with a gesture that's simple like this. It is completely accessible for everyone. I just did a workshop with a few women that are in chairs. They can't walk, right? And that's how they get around, but they have their hands. So we did this beautiful embodiment. So that's how it works. And I always pair it with music because music really is the gateway to our soul. And it really brings out lots and lots of emotions. So it ranges from very deep, dark places to very light and beautiful experiences. And by the end, there's joy and there's lightness and there's freedom in our mind and our body. It's really transformative and beautiful.
That's very exciting. I love that. I love that. How long does this process take for you? Well, let's talk about the group thing first. I really think that's great. If we don't have, you know, the one-on-one in our spending plan and dialed in and ready to go, then we need to do something. So to be able to do the group thing would be great. So how long is a group session, say?
So I've been doing these 30-minute set your intention for the day power of gesture one time a week. And I love it. And
that's cool.
It's like, you know, a Tuesday or a Wednesday morning. So I've been doing that. That's 30 minutes. But if I do a workshop once a month, I hold my own workshop. That's an hour. But then if I go into someone else's community and I do a workshop for, let's say you might want it, depending on how many women show up, you might want it for 90 minutes. I don't typically go longer than 90 minutes, but if there's a lot of people, we'll figure it out. I've done up to 5 hours, which is way too long.
Way too long. Yeah. Although I could do it for 5 hours, that'd be great.
It turned out great, but it definitely was too long.
That's awesome. And so tell me a little bit I would imagine you did yours first. And that's
I
kind of
did.
how you accumulated all of this knowledge.
I did my story.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's a separate, we're talking about the workshops and the one-on-ones and the power of gesture and all that. And then curating the story, I still use the power of gesture, but that's in another, the one-on-one coaching can just be like a weekly, what's on your heart today kind of experience. It's almost like an alternative to therapy or meditation, but the stories that I produce, that's a whole other thing. And that's really, really quite profound, because this lands with a video story that represents a woman's life of resilience and courage and bravery. It's captured in a 4 to 5 minute video that she has for the rest of her life to look back on, to show her children and her grandchildren. And they're incredible. So I've curated about 200 of these stories, and they're all unbelievable, using the power of gesture as really the heart and soul. So it's the same process, except it's very specific to the woman as opposed to multiple women in a workshop. So
so I think I'm getting it. So on your workshops and teaching us to embodiment what we're feeling and the power of gesture, that is something I'm thinking of is like another way of meditating. It's another way to add to my spiritual practice or my journaling or therapy.
That's right.
Okay. So do people come to multiple months of your workshop?
Yeah, a lot of people come because they, it's like taking a class. It's a drop-in, 30-minute. Let's set the intention. Okay, I want to be present today in my body. That is my focus. That is my intention. Here's my gesture.
I love that.
Everyone creates a gesture. We all learn each other's gestures. It's like this community experience, this community bonding. We put on music and you're off for the day feeling heard and seen and validated and embodied in 30 minutes. It's so beautiful. So yeah, it's just like a class. And then I do the hour long, once a month. And then
even the once a month, do you get multiple people come in multiple times? Because there's so many different areas that I would need a gesture, and like everything you mentioned is like perfect. So I would want to deal with this, then deal with this.
No, exactly. Well, it's interesting that you're saying that, because I recently had this conversation and someone's like, you need to do a program. So I designed a program for women that I'm launching in March, and every single week is a different intention to what you're saying, right? So it's
that
power of gesture, but every week, one week it's resiliency. Another week is about living with courage. Another, every week there's a different theme, but the process of the power of gesture stays the same. So you get to embody different parts of yourself, different stories, different areas, and every week it'll be a different gesture, and we'll link them all together.
That's awesome. Okay. So we have workshops and classes, and we have short things for intentions. We have like a full hour to maybe get a little bit more out. And I'm imagining that I can take what I learn in your class and I can do that every day when I want to move my body. Like I have a naturopath. I don't know what you call her. I call her my medical guru. And I'm supposed to get up and do the hula hoop for 10 minutes every morning to move my body. Like that's what I'm doing this month. Every month is different. Because she muscle tests my body and tells me what I need to do. And so I'm thinking this is perfect, because then I can put that into my morning practice.
That's right.
Of whatever I create inside your hour-long class. Okay, so that's over here. So then we have the most powerful videos on your website. And this is a whole different process using gestures, I get.
Same process, just it's a different, I hate to say product because it's not.
But I would imagine you spend more time with her.
Oh, yes.
Okay. That's what I mean by process. Same using gestures and embodiment, stuff like that. But your process for this is going to be different. You're going to meet with her more.
Yes.
Do you do any men at all?
I recently curated a story for one man. I recently did a workshop last weekend in Philly for 25 teenagers, and there were 2 boys there. So
that's awesome.
It really depends. And I want to branch out to more men, but most of my body of work really is, 95% women and girls.
But if a man came to you and said, 100%. I need to,
100%.
Same thing.
Love it. I would
Okay.
love it.
That's awesome. Okay, great. So tell me about this process of the telling her story.
Yeah, so that is a very intimate process between the woman and myself. And I really am a student of her life. That's how I see it. I feel like every time I do these, I'm just saying on the side, I feel like I learn more and more about this world and humanity. So how this process works is I basically listen. I listen to her. It's a conversation, not an interview. I don't come prepared with questions. It's really about this conversation that can really begin anywhere. I have began this process in so many different ways. It's just organic. We start the conversation. We wind up talking about her life, and I will reflect back to her about what I've heard. Sort of, we identify her story with different chapters that I've heard. And then she will then embody each chapter based on the emotion of that time in her life. So let's just say it's around adolescence and there was a lot of fear. So, okay, so she will embody that moment in time in her life with a gesture of fear. But then, a couple chapters later, she's feeling very empowered, very in her body. She's overcome, and that gesture will look different. So I help guide her to create multiple gestures, to create sort of this movement story that represents her life. And that is our call together. And I go ahead and I edit the audio and what has come out of it regarding the gestures. Then there's some additional clips that are inspired by that conversation. That's a whole other thing. But I get those clips and I edit those and I add in music. And by the end, it's a beautiful 4 to 5 minute piece that is visual and exciting and very moving. And again, is a keepsake for her to use in any way that she would like to, whether it's for business or personal. And I've done so many where they just keep it private. It's just been a cathartic journey and experience. A lot of what women say to me, the feedback has been, to be able to witness myself, to look at my journey. Wow, I've really overcome, I'm really pretty great. I've had some women or I've even had a lot of women, look back and say, wow, that's so interesting. I guess I was pretty dark back then. There's a lot of reflection that happens and introspection that we don't really get to do. We get to watch other people and give feedback to others most of the time. It's rare that we get to self-reflect in this very deep way. And the space is safe. I'm completely in love with this process. I hold every single woman with I can't even tell you, it's almost, it's never too much, but my friends worry about me because I care so much. And it's a lot to take on, but I love it and I hold it. And I am so happy. The piece for me, I'm an artist and I'm an editor and I love this. So I'm creating a piece of art out of a woman's life story. And to me, there's just no better inspiration than that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay. So now I want to take you on a journey.
Yes.
Who takes care of you?
That is such a good question.
See that, y'all? You hearing that pause, y'all? You hearing that pause? And this is what we do as business owners, as women, as this day and age, we go, because what we're giving is amazing. And we change lives every day and we forget about us. So I just realized I've just sat down and watched a couple of your videos and I started bawling. So I had to stop because I have lashes on for the show. So I'm like, okay, can't do that. And I'm like, I know what I do with coaching with my clients and where we go. And as a certified divorce financial analyst, where we go when someone's completely, off the rails with their life and how I take that on and how I protect myself. And I make sure that I'm good, but I've been doing it for years and years and years and years. In the beginning, that's got to be hard to learn how to, I want to say detach, but it's not necessarily detach, it's separate. So these ladies are giving you, like if it were me, like you are in my spending plan. You have been in my spending plan for a while for my own personal story. I want my own personal journey story.
Yes.
And it's going to be like, it's going to be so much of baggage and stuff. And then, yeah, of course, it's amazing now and I can put things where it is now, but it's going to be a lot to take on if you're taking everything on. So I hear your yoga practice. I love that.
Yes. Yep.
And I would imagine, I mean, just from your energy and your aura that I can feel from you, you definitely slow down when you need to slow down.
Yes. Thank you for saying that.
For sure. And I could tell that when we are aligned with, and I hate the word purpose, what's your purpose, whatever. When we're aligned with joy every day and we're doing what brings us joy every day, then it gives us energy as well. So when we're doing what we're supposed to be doing or what brings us joy, we can do more of that. So I get all of that as well, but we sometimes can go over the top. So tell me about how you self-care.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. And it is so important to pause. I have a coach who really has changed my life, I will say. Her name is Gina Perro. What she has taught me is that my business is not separate from me. It's one and the same. And that I was born to be doing this, right? And that it is just a collective. And so in order for my business to flourish, I have to be taking care of myself. They are just too much aligned and too much a part of one another. And it is so true. It is so, so true. My heart and soul is in this work. It is not anything that I woke up one morning and said, let me create something. It came to me, and it truly did. So when I had that realization, I was like, wow, I can't keep it separate. It's all together. So how do I take care of myself? How do I take care of the business? Because this is the business, So I really got aligned with that philosophy. That was number one, which took a lot of time. Like she took me through a whole workbook, and it was a lot of self-reflection. I was like, I want to go. I want to create programs. I want to make money. I want to, and in this process, I was like, oh my God, I was like doing inner child work and all this stuff. I was like, oh my God, I'm talking to my 3-year-old self. I'm bawling. Like, what the hell is this? I don't have time. But soon I really realized the value of all of that. So that was important. And then I arrived at a place where I need to really take care of myself. So I get on my yoga mat every day, whether it's 10 minutes or an hour and a half. I like to move my body. So I'd say the yoga mat is definitely my sacred place. And then I also do turn on a lot of music and dance around like a mad woman, and that releases a lot for me. I also exercise. I love to run, and I like to work out, and really take walks with my best friend on the phone with me. And so that's self-care. And I eat really well for the most part. I love my wine. So, I feel like I have a good balance, but I am constantly remembering that presence is the key for me. I must be present in every moment. I have to be. And it's something I've been really working on. And I feel like I'm really good at it right now. I can veer off, but I can come back pretty quickly. And it's taken a lot of time to get there. But that focus of presence is really, really essential, and a practice.
I love that.
Really,
I love that. That's awesome. So there's 2 things I'm going to offer.
Yes.
To replace the word work with the word feeling.
And give me an example of what I said.
So. You just said, I've been working on that really hard lately, and I've been doing really good. That's from our old education, like work real hard and you're going to get an A on this paper.
Right.
Instead of that, it's like, it's feeling really good right now in my life.
Right. Yep.
And that takes us away from the word work. I think women work our asses off anyways. Not that men don't, but they get a different pride from work than I do. And I'm definitely generalizing y'all. So relax. I understand that. But whatever you identify with, if you're a worker, like I have always been, workaholic, Virgo, perfectionist, all of that, the word work was an identity for me. Like I was proud of myself for working 14 hours a day and 7 days a week. Like that was an ego thing for me. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. When I actually worked 50% less, I made twice as much. So the abundance does not come to the people who work really, really hard. And that's the first myth we have to bust. So when we use that word work hard, it's like, wait a minute. What we're really working hard on is spending time being aligned and in our true joy that isn't work.
Right.
So I just have people switch the word work to F word. One of my favorite F words is the feeling word. So I'm feeling like, because I see you. I mean, I could totally, feel you, and I've heard you before, and I could feel when you're going for it and when you're not. Like we can all do that, right? Like
yep.
I can get I just talked to my daughter yesterday or the day before, and she's like, "You need to take a breath." I'm like, "Okay." I just don't understand why you need me to take a breath, because I've got 2 events going on and I'm doing and I'm like, I talk to other people just fine in my industry that we just go, no. And she's like, okay, but you need to take a breath. And I'm like, oh, okay. I forgot. Relax, sit back. What am I trying to convey to you? Let's have like an actual conversation. So that was just one thing I wanted to offer.
Yeah. Love it. Thank you.
That's awesome. So another thing, the second thing, and then I'm going to have Juan cue up the wonderful quick little commercial if you all want more of this amazing transformation. I have all of my clients start with, I know it's so weird, but 100 things that you love. And they come to me with all their statements and their finances and all their stress. And they say, hear this. I'm like, okay, that's great. Thank you. And now your homework is to write down 100 things that you love. And if we can keep that list with us every morning and do a lot, as many as we can on that list on a daily basis, we are going to attract the abundance that we deserve and we desire. Mm-hmm. So that's a little trick as well to add to whatever you're doing. Like your girlfriend, that'd be great to go back and forth on the phone call. What do you love today? What do you like? I'm my pillow, my hot shower. I love my phone case, like just weird things, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Juan. We're going to have you cue up the commercial, and then Jen, we're going to come back and we're going to hear about you personally and your story, if you don't mind sharing, whatever you mind sharing.
Not at all.
I can't wait. I love you. I can't wait to get to know you more. Okay, Juan, hit it.
Wait, the show isn't over yet. There's more fun and finances ahead. Jennifer will be right back as we have a special bonus offer for you right here on Rock My Finances, broadcasting live on K4HD Radio and Talk 4 TV.
Hey y'all, it's Jennifer Jost. Are you ready to transform your relationship with money? Rock My Finances Club is your weekly mastermind for wealth empowerment. Join me live for your personal weekly group video sessions and access your personal portal with the video library at any time, including your success system and way more bonuses. Go to rockmf.com for your financial empowerment. Make yourself a priority today. Schedule a chat with me at rockmf.com and achieve your feminine financial freedom finally. Oh, and don't forget to ask me how to save 50%. See you at our weekly mastermind.
Okay, Rock My Finances on K4HD and Talk 4 TV is back. Once again, let's put the fun in finance with your host and weekly friend, Jennifer Jost.
Okay, you get to share now. I know it's been I read your all your stuff on your bio and your website and everything. It's a beautiful website, by the way. You've done an amazing job on the website.
Oh, thank you.
I know that you've been through a lot of different things that brought you to the culmination of kind of everything that brought you to this embodiment work, which is amazing. But is there anything that you'd like to share with our listeners that maybe you have triumphed through or learned, or maybe being a women business owner, or anything in your childhood, or anything at all you want to share? I'd love to hear successful women actually share where they've been, because we've all been there, right?
Yeah, well, I really appreciate that and appreciate the opportunity, because I do think that there are people out there that might resonate with this. So I struggled a lot in school, academically. It's just the way society taught when I was growing up, this very traditional way, did not work for me at all. And I didn't know that I was a kinetic learner. I didn't know that I learned with my body and visually and all of these beautiful things that I learned in my 20s. So what happened was a lot of shame, a lot of pain, a lot of embarrassment and insecurity. I mean, my confidence around my intelligence was like horrendous. And I felt like there were multiple times where I'd be around a table. I mean, I have this vision of, it was like trauma. Like I'd sitting around a table and people would be talking about things and I just felt like I wasn't worthy. I just felt like my words were not enough because at school, I wasn't absorbing the information to then be able to pull it back out again in an articulate way. And this really took me through my teenage years and most of my 20s in relationships. And what's ironic is that some of the relationships I had, these guys were like Harvard cum laude, Princeton undergrad. I was like, what the hell are these guys doing with me? I mean, it was bananas. And I have very funny stories around that. But the bottom line is the insecurities really took me down. Like they really took my soul down. And then I reached sort of a rock bottom moment in my 20s. And I was like, I am better than, like, what is this? So I started to climb and I found this amazing therapist who then introduced me to this woman who did a lot of different kinds of tests and all kinds of evaluations. And she's like, girl, you are so smart. You're just a kinesthetic learner. I'm like, what the hell is that? So she taught me all about Howard Gardner and the multiple forms of intelligence, and kinesthetic learning is one of those ways. So I basically started my education over in my late 20s. And I asked this woman who was a professor to teach me everything about the way our country works and the way our relationships are around the world and all kinds of things that I was interested in but couldn't hold on to. And she taught me visually. She taught me in a way that I could understand. And so I studied with her, literally studied with her for like 5.5 years.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I need that right now.
Yeah, it was transformative. Do I remember everything? Absolutely not, but it doesn't matter. It gave me confidence. I learned about how I learn. And so from there, I found this organization called the National Dance Institute, where I still teach their teachers and I also teach the children still. And basically the method is all about kinetic learning. And it's reaching these children with curriculum, but through an artistic lens. And I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what I needed when I was younger. So I found that's when it all started for me. And I started giving back because that's what I needed. And I know how shameful it can be when you don't understand a concept or whatever is being taught. So this was another way in, and it's super empowering. And now what I'm doing with women and still with teenagers is empowering them to share their stories, connect to their emotions in this kinesthetic way through their hands. So it all kind of lines up. And so what I'm saying is that sometimes, and you know this very much so, that our pain that we go through can really lead, without sounding cheesy, because people say it all the time, but our pain can lead to our purpose. And there is no doubt about it that mine did, not even a question. And a lot of that pain is still like right here. And a lot of those insecurities still come up and I feel it, but I have tools and I understand it. So I feel empowered by it now. So that is sort of like the journey of how I got here and why I'm so passionate about it. I'll say this last thing, that dance, throughout that, I found dance, and dance really became my language, and it connected me to this kinesthetic way of learning. So dance really was a gift to me. And now I know that not everyone's a dancer. So I created this accessible approach so that anyone can connect and learn and grow, not just through actual, choreography and dance, but that's what it did for me. So in turn, I created the power of gesture.
I love that. The power of gesture. And I know I met you on Clubhouse, and I know when you said that, I was like, what the hell is that? And
I know.
You gave a link to a video, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I've never seen anything like it. And I just really applaud what you're doing. It's absolutely amazing. I love that. I did feel like an outcast in school as well. And I don't know what type of a learner I am. So there's a whole nother podcast for us, right? I need to learn about that. I know I'm definitely much more visual and audio for sure. And I didn't do that great in school as well. But I'm big mouth and always talking and very sociable. So I kind of got away with stuff.
Yeah.
And so, but I grew up in an alcoholic home. So I grew up with shame. Like that was in my back pocket every day was shame. Like I was completely different than anyone else out there because I had a secret when I went home every day.
Right.
So I get that. I get that shame, and I get how sharing that helps. So like, I love these shows to be able to help women share their healing, because I believe that when we keep it a secret is when it grows and festers and turns into something else. I needed to be a perfectionist. I needed to be the top of all my sales. I needed to be the top of everything. I needed to be the best, on time, perfect. Kids were perfect. Everything was playing until I lost my kids. And it was like, oh my gosh, it's not about that. It's really not about that. It's about how much joy and love you can have every day and how you can help others. And I love that that's absolutely what you're doing. I really do love that. So tell me how, we only have a few minutes left. Well, we have 10 minutes left. When someone completes either any of your workshops or the story, whatever, do they talk about maybe like something that they've learned or a transformation that they've learned? Like, I'd love to be able to feel more confident in my dancing.
Yeah.
Do
Absolutely.
they share that?
They do. And I will tell you that this is a gateway to feel more confident in your body to dance. You know, it doesn't have to get there. But I have some clients, I'm just kind of like privately smiling because I just worked with a woman last night where, you know, when I first started working with her, she was just one of those, like, I don't move, I don't dance, but she was interested in like healing and talking about her story. And she's one of those, like, we haven't done her story. We just meet weekly, and we use the power of gesture to help her move through her life, you know? But anyhow, she was one of those, I don't really move and all of that, but I'm really interested. And now, I mean, it's only been like 4 months. And last night she was up off that chair, and she took her gesture and she kind of embodied it into this bigger thing. And it was so beautiful. And I think it's also because she feels very safe with me. And I was just like, yes, I was so celebrating her. So I just wanted to say that there have been the transformation. It can be, you know, someone that's not very comfortable in their own skin to someone that is actually feeling more alive and open and taking up more space. That happens all the time. But in terms of, I think the biggest piece of feedback that I get is that people realize they gain so much confidence in their story because we're creating a piece of art out of their journey. And a lot of their journeys, like yours, are not, you know, there's a lot of pain and trauma within the journey. And to be able to reflect on that and to feel like, I am beautiful. My story is beautiful and difficult, but we've created art out of it. So there's this very, like you said at the very beginning, you've never seen anything like this. A lot of these women are like, I've never experienced anything like this, because who would have thought I would have created a piece of art out of my trauma? And so there is this empowerment that happens, and there's this witnessing of self that is so deeply profound. And women just gain a lot of confidence from this process, a lot of confidence. Is it cured? Are they cured? Are they the most empowered, the most confident in the world, and nothing touches them? No, but it's something else to put in your toolkit that can help you get there. You know,
I love that. And we're never cured, y'all. It never goes away. There's always going to be issues. In fact, that was a big to me, because I didn't want to do a show like this. I didn't want to speak on stage because I wasn't perfect yet. I wasn't a multimillionaire yet. I wasn't, you know, whatever I thought in my head that I needed to have. I didn't have that perfect marriage. I've been single for a really long time now. And it's like, I just thought that I had to be all of that before I could actually talk to anybody or share anything. And it was like, okay, so not true. And so now it's like, just listening to you, you're extremely articulate. You are sharing everything. I'm absolutely hanging on every single word. You're very obviously passionate about what you do, but you actually experienced it yourself going through your own journey. And I love that. And I'm still going there. Like we're always, always, always learning. A year ago, I fell down and broke out my 2 front teeth. I had no front teeth for 9 months, like this whole last year.
Oh my God.
And yeah, it was a whole nother thing. Right. And so the universe is like, okay, you think that it's about beauty, or you think, and then talking, I couldn't, like, even now I feel like I have permanent teeth, but I feel like I'm a horse mouth. So now it's like, now how are you going to talk? Because if you think it's all about that. So the universe is always giving us ways to find our confidence in other areas of our life, which I love. And that's what we need to keep doing. And that's why if anyone's listening to you right now, we need to jump on this, because I believe everything happens for a reason. I met you for a reason. You're here for a reason. People are listening to you for a reason. And it is because the universe does have our back. And it puts us in places where we are supposed to be and meeting people who we are supposed to meet for our journey and our purpose, or whatever you want to call it, just to bring more joy into our life as well. So I really appreciate that. You mentioned something earlier that I loved. I think you said music was the language of our soul, or gets deep to our soul, or something like that. I've not heard that phrase before either. I love that.
I think I said it's the gateway to our soul.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly it is mine. I mean, there is something, the vibration of music that resonates, whatever the music is that you love, that really lights you up. It's like, why, asking why, what is it about this music? And there is something, I mean, for me, it ignites every single cell in my body. I'm like on fire when it comes to music that really lights me up. And I don't know why I'm thinking about this, but this is going to sound so cheesy. I should not say this is going to sound so cheesy.
Yes. Cancel. Go ahead, share.
Yeah. But so my all-time favorite song right now, and if you're like a 15-year-old, you're going to laugh. I don't think a 15-year-old is listening to this podcast, but it's a Justin Bieber song called Never Say Never. And it's all about never say never, never say never. Like anything can happen. And there's a lot in my life right now. And it's like that theme of never say never. And it's like, there's rap and there's vibe and there's drive and I was dancing to it like crazy a few weeks ago, and I posted it on Instagram. It's hilarious. It's just like sharing, like allowing music to transport us, and I go from like jazz to soul music to hip hop to whatever, to allow it to fuel my soul, to bring me the joy. Sometimes it's overwhelming for me.
I love it. I love that. I just told a client this morning, she was having family issues and she was so angry. And I just told her to swamp it out, like put on a Nirvana song and just swamp that crap out, and then put on like a 50 Shades song, like a Weekend song, and then just be all sexy and sultry and bring it back in.
Look at you.
I love that. Okay. So now you bring me to my sexy. So
you are totally sexy.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
I have no confidence in that, in my area of being sexy.
Okay. We need to work on this.
Right?
We need sessions with me, girl.
We need to have fun with this, not work. We need to have fun with this. Awesome. I have thoroughly enjoyed you today, Jen. Thank you so much for coming on. It was so much fun. Everybody go check out jenaks.com. Jump into one of her workshops, do your personal story, have a really good time with that. I will be doing mine. You will see mine on her website one of these darn days when we get together. Yep. And I just really applaud your journey. Thank you so much for joining with us today. Is there any last thoughts? What was your biggest takeaway from today, maybe?
Just, how being present can bring so much joy. Because I was so present in this conversation and I feel so full and so joyful. I don't need anything else today.
I love it. My heart's with you, my love. I will see you soon around the virtual world.
That's right, girl.
Thank you.
We appreciate you joining us today, and don't forget to subscribe to the Rock My Finances YouTube channel for more engagement and bonus content. Tell me, what is your money story? Let's find out with Jennifer, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, every Thursday right here on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. It's not about the zeros, it's about the F word, feelings. Feelings Jennifer can't wait to explore with you next week. Until then, let's all say, I rock my finances.